So we're going to be looking at a scenario where civilization starts over. In the last episode, we saw the Alien Rebellion get rid of pretty much every single country in the world. There is remnants of the North American Union, but there is no one living here as these two giant meteors absolutely wiped out Earth. And these meteorites are so powerful that they actually managed to push Earth out of its orbital track. But we're going to get into that later in the video, actually right after this intro. But if you guys are enjoying this series, make sure to like and subscribe. We only have this episode and next episode before Season 1 is over. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this episode. So first, like I said, we need to start talking about these meteors and how they knocked Earth out of its orbital track. These meteors managed to, well, this one mainly. This one was powerful, the size of Asia, but this one carried more strength. So when it crashed into the Earth, it sent it flying towards Mars, which if you don't know, Mars is the planet, that's not closest to the sun, I'm not good with planets. But Mars is the one directly to the right of us, away from the sun. But of course, Mars has a different orbital track as us, so the Earth is not going to run into Mars, no. But Earth is drifting away from the sun. Now, it's not drifting super far away, but the moon is now disconnected from the Earth, and it's having its own orbital track around the sun. Now, of course, do remember the North American Union, right before the asteroids landed, it was able to manage to send a rocket of 2 people, and this rocket was able to land right here. So I guess there are 2 people left. But they didn't bring proper equipment, and they don't have a lot of food on them. So really, they're just sitting in their rocket as they're floating around the sun very slowly. As on Earth, the continents are sinking. And do note, these aliens got wiped out when these asteroids hit. There is no more life on Earth. The aliens kind of played themselves by landing these meteorites, because one of the things they were very weak to was water. But by these landing, it sent giant tsunamis hurtling towards the continents, which on Earth, the water levels are rising even more. A lot of North America has sank, and even the asteroid. And now on the moon, one of the 2 people has died, which now means there's only 1 person left. Earth has stopped moving since these asteroids hit, but ice has started to freeze over inside of these northern areas. It is really cold, way too cold for any form of life to live, as the amount of water on Earth drastically decreases. Even the land starts to get taken by ice. It has been about 5 years since this whole thing happened. And the second guy who died, he died about 3 years ago. So this one guy's been surviving for 2 years by himself. He's going crazy, he's very hungry. And on Earth, as pretty much a lot of the world, besides around the equator, start to get just completely destroyed by ice, something is going to happen inside of Arabia. An asteroid around 1.5 times bigger than the moon crashes into Earth. Earth is very weak right now. So this asteroid single-handedly just made something happen, and the Earth is now moving back into its original orbit. It's moving forward, and eventually, as pretty much all of Earth is covered in ice, it falls back into its original orbit. Earth will stay as pretty much an icicle for around 10 million years, in which this guy is 100% dead. But then eventually, the ice starts to melt as the globe is warming up. It starts around the equator, but quickly spreads, as this is the greatest warmth the Earth has ever faced. This is the hottest Earth will ever be, and very quickly the ice is just absolutely a no-go as it moves back, and eventually there's no ice left on the globe. But the water is very high, and there's no land, it's just a blue canvas. But Earth at this point has 1 moon. That is until another asteroid crashes into Earth. This asteroid carried lava. Inside of all the craters, it carried a few little pieces of lava. Now, this asteroid wasn't big. Pretty small, actually. But not only is this Earth's second moon, the Earth has been warmed up even more, and water levels are decreasing. And this leads to a little piece of land rising. Now, at this point, there are little creatures inside of the ocean, kind of like something called the Cambrian explosion. But there's no real point to going on this little piece. There's no green grass, there's no food. So really, it's just a piece of land. But evolution has its course. And eventually, even more islands start to pop up. The Earth is rebuilding itself. And although this is probably the shortest Wixo episode in history, it's crucial for setting up the final episode in the series.